this legislative hearing to order. Before we begin, I want to remind members who are connecting with us remotely to mute your microphone, if you would, when you're not testifying. With that, thank you. And today the committee will receive testimony on 5 bills. S.3126, a bill to amend the Public Health Service Act to authorize a special behavioral health program for Indians. S.3264, a bill to expedite and streamline the deployment of affordable broadband service in tribal land and for other purposes. S.3937, a bill to amend Section 330C of the Public Health Service Act to reauthorize special programs for Indians for providing services for the prevention and treatment of diabetes and for other purposes. S.4079, a bill to authorize the Seminole Tribe of Florida to lease or transfer certain land and for other purposes. And S.4556, a bill to authorize the Secretary of Health and Human Services acting through the Director of the Indian Health Service to acquire private land to facilitate access to the Desert Sage Youth Wellness Center in Hammett, California, and for other purposes. First, S.3126. On December 19, 2019, Senator Smith introduced S.3126, the Native Behavioral Health Access Improvement Act of 2019. Senators Udall, Tester, Cortez, Masto, and Warren are co-sponsors. American Indians and Alaska Natives have the second highest overdose rates from opioids than any other racial or ethnic group. Substance abuse further increases the need for behavioral health treatment among Native people. With the opioid abuse epidemic and now the COVID-19 pandemic, tribal and communities continue to need access to services that properly address substance use and mental health disorders. S.3126 will establish a special program designed for Indian tribes to access federal grant funding of $150 million per year for 5 years to address mental health needs and substance use disorders found among Native peoples. S.3264. On February 11, 2020, Senator Udall introduced S.3264, which was referred to the committee. Senators Heinrich, Cantwell, Warren, Smith, and Schatz are co-sponsors of the bill. No House companion bill has been introduced at this time. This bill contains a number of initiatives designed to ensure that the residents of tribal lands enjoy levels of high-speed broadband access equivalent to those of other well-connected communities across the country. For instance, the bill establishes a tribal broadband interagency working group to coordinate broadband programs among key federal agencies like the Federal Communications Commission, the Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Interior. The bill contains tribal set-aside of 20% from the Department of Ag's Rural Utility Service and 5% of the Federal Communication Commission's Universal Service Fund for broadband deployment on tribal lands. Access to broadband is a vital tool for economic development, educational and job opportunities, and public health and safety throughout the nation. Tribal communities continue to lag behind the rest of the country in access to affordable and reliable broadband service. The committee is committed to taking the steps necessary to identify and eliminate any barriers to the deployment of broadband services and infrastructure in Indian country. S.3937. On June 10, 2020, Senator McSally introduced S.3937, the Special Diabetes Programs for Indians Reauthorization Act of 2020. Senators Sinema and Murkowski are co-sponsors. In 1997, Congress established the Special Diabetes Program for Indians, SDPI, to decrease the growing rate of diabetes among American Indians and Alaska Natives. Since then, the SDPI program has received $150 million per year to provide grants to eligible entities that offer diabetes treatment and prevention services. A recent report found that diabetes has significantly decreased since 2013, which is attributable to the success of the SDPI program. S.3937 reauthorizes the SDPI program for fiscal years 2021 to 2025 and increases funding from $150 million to $200 million per year. Additionally, the bill gives eligible grantees the option to receive funds through self-governance contracts, cooperative agreements, or compacts under the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act. S.4079. June 25th, 2020, Senators Rubio and Scott introduced S.4079, a bill to authorize the Seminole Tribe of Florida to lease or transfer certain lands and for other purposes. This legislation authorizes the Seminole Tribe of Florida to convey or otherwise transfer interest in land. This authorization does not include lands held in trust. The bill rectifies the limitations placed on the tribe by the Non-Intercourse Act. Originally enacted in 1970, the Non-Intercourse Act requires the tribe to first get federal approval before conveying any land interest. S.4079 would allow for the tribe to operate without this unnecessary delay and to exercise greater control over their own affairs. S.4556. On September 10, 2020, Senator Feinstein introduced 4556, a bill to authorize the Secretary of Health and Human Services, acting through the Director of the Indian Health Service, to acquire private land to facilitate access to the Desert Sage Youth Wellness Center in Hemet, California, and for other purposes. Desert Sage Youth Wellness Center is an IHS Youth Regional Treatment Center located in Hemet, California. This center provides culturally sensitive substance abuse treatment in a co-ed residential facility for Native youth. Currently, the only access to the center is on a dirt and gravel road. During the extreme weather conditions, access to the center becomes dangerous and limited. In order to provide better access to the center, HHS must purchase land from local owners to construct a paved road. S.4556 authorizes HHS to acquire land from willing sellers to construct and maintain a paved road to the Desert Sage Youth Wellness Center. And with that, I will turn to Vice Chairman Udall for his opening statement.